What's up, CJ? How's it going?
I'm great, man.
So you had two teams compete this weekend.
Yeah.
Tell me how it went for them.
It went great for Team Invictus. They ended up with the victory and getting us back to games for the 11th consecutive year. Invictus X, I think, had a little bit of a tough time. We had 3 judging issues that were a little bit frustrating, I know, for the team, and there's simple mistakes. But the new format is tough to figure out, and so for a team that was that successful at games to come in and then have individual events, I think they just got a little bit thrown off their game early on.
And so you mentioned the new format. Like, what were your initial impressions on the format, and did that change at all after kind of being at the first event of this new system?
I think there's just a lot of questions that still need to be answered. I mean, even insofar as, so we've qualified a team, does it have to be those 4?
Yeah.
And if not those 4, then what is our roster? Is it wide open because we haven't designated anybody? And so I think, for us, it's still wait and see until we get an official rule book. And in the meantime, what we've advised all of our athletes is let's just go to these competitions and enjoy. Whether there's something beyond it or not, let's go put our best foot forward and have fun with it.
And so you had 2 teams, Invictus X, which was your team at the games.
Yep.
And then this other Invictus team, which is kind of a mixture of some individual athletes. For the Invictus team that won, is there going to be any plans to do other sanctioned competitions as well? Yeah,
they're signed up for Wadapalooza, so that's their next stop. And both of those teams will stay the same, or they have been registered as the same. So that's tricky now. It's like, well, if these guys are already in, should we try to put another team in?
And just thoughts on the team competition here specifically. Just what were your impressions, takeaways from it?
I think they're in a tough position. I think there are a lot of changes that came late in the game. We like team events that are really team based. This was a lot of individual based events, and obviously our guys are suited for it and they did fine, but I'd still love to see more teamwork and more strategy. As a coach, that's always more fun.
And for Invictus as a whole, for yourself and for other athletes, how are you best managing this season layout so far with what's known?
It's been tough, right? We have to, it's a lot of individual conversations with athletes and figure out what their tolerance is for travel and how early they want to peak in a season. I know for our guys that were at games last year, this is really early. And just talking to the athletes in back that were at games, it was really tough for people to get really fired up at this time of year. It's just normally a time of year that we're working on weaknesses and kind of rebuilding the structure, making sure we're taking care of injuries. And so, these guys are still in great shape. They always are, but it's tough, to be game ready.
So I know you mentioned Wadapalooza for these teams, and I know you coach a ton of athletes as well. Is there, beyond January and Wadapalooza and the Open, are there any sanctioned events in particular that you kind of got your eye on, or you got circled as a big potential for some of your athletes and teams?
Yeah, a lot of our athletes have rogue invites, and so we're excited to do that. I know Bill and Katie will do a great job with that. So Granite Games is something that we've always gone to. John runs an amazing competition at Granite Games, and so we'll definitely hit up those two. We've got a lot of great friends in Brazil. I'd love to think about that, but it conflicts with the rogue, and so some of it's just looking at calendar and timing, and then travel costs are, this is not a cheap trip. We had 7 individuals and 2 teams, so you got 15 athletes to bring out, plus myself and Tino, and that gets expensive after a while. So we'll look at the calendar and figure out where we can go.
Well, thanks a bunch, CJ. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.